Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Sanchit. Today I'll walk you through second assignment of Kagel's 30-day of ML challenge. I'll be dividing this into two parts. First, we'll cover the concept mentioned in the tutorial. Second, we'll cover the step-by-step guide to complete the assignment. On the email for day 2, you will receive the two links as shown. First will take us to the concept that we need to understand, and the second one will take us to the assignment. So let's begin with the concepts first. So I'll be clicking on this read this tutorial, and once I click this, it will open up a new link which will give you the first page, that is Hello Python. So we need to today understand what has been explained, what concepts are given to us for today's work, and then we will jump to the assignment part. Okay. So we are here starting with a brief overview of Python syntax, variable assignment, and arithmetic operators. So if you have a previous experience in Python, then you can just skip to the second part, that is to complete the assignment. Now here, for those who are new to Python, let's go step by step and understand what has been given here and what needs to be understood in order to complete the assignment. So this is the code that has been provided to us. Spam amount equal to 0, print spam amount. Then there is a commenting, ordering spam, egg, spam, spam, bacon, and spam. Four more servings of spam. Then we are adding a number 4 to spam amount variable and then putting it again into the spam amount variable. Then we are putting a condition like if spam amount is greater than 0, then you need to print, but I don't want any spam. Then again, we are defining a variable Viking song equals to spam into spam amount and then print Viking song. So this is the code that has been given to us. Now we will go step by step on what it is and what we need to understand on that. So going to the line N2 part, the spam amount equals to 0. So this is a variable assignment, all right? So we are assigning a value 0 to the variable spam amount. So here we do not have to declare a variable like declare that we use in Java or C++. We can directly define a variable by just giving a value to it, okay? So that is how you define a variable in Python. Now the second line of the code is print spam amount. So this is a function. Print function will display the value that has been passed to it. So here we are passing the variable spam amount which holds the value 0. So that's why the output of this is 0 here, right? Now if you want to comment anything, then the commenting is done with hash or pound symbol that we call, and then writing whatever text you want to write. Commenting is always good in coding when the code is a huge set of lines because that helps the other person, the second person who is going to view your code or review your code to understand what you're trying to do over here. All right. So what we are doing here is that we are adding a value of 4 to the span amount. So 0 plus 4, which is equal to 4, and then saving that value again into the same variable, which is spam underscore amount. So that is what we are doing it over here. Okay. Now the next line is something interesting. So we are writing an if statement. If is a conditional statement. So here what we are doing is that if spam amount is greater than 0, okay, now the statement ends with a colon, print, but I don't want any spam. All right. So this part is giving us that if the condition satisfies, then you need to print this. Okay. Now in Python, we do not use any kind of curly braces that we use in other languages like Java or C++. what we do is we do an indentation. So what is indentation? We put some white spaces. So when you have a if statement or any conditions, then what you do is that you will put white spaces below that, like a tab or just some white spaces. Then the Python understands that you are trying to write a condition. So if this satisfied, then this will execute. The print statement will execute. But if you see this Viking song equals to spam, 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 print Viking song is not indented. So basically it is outside this loop, outside the if condition. All right. So this is going to execute anyway. All right. So it does not depend on if statement. If this would have been below this, then it is dependent on the if condition. Okay. So this is how you write a conditional statement. Okay. Now the next part is Viking underscore song equal to spam into spam amount. So what we are doing here is that we are multiplying a string with an integer number. All right. So this is the beauty of Python. This can be really easy and it will help you to multiply the values if you want to. So here what we are doing is that we are multiplying a string spam into the spam amount. So our spam amount is 4. So the spam will repeat 4 times. Okay. So when we are printing this Viking song, it is spam, 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 spam. You can also multiply to integers to numbers like mentioned here 3 into 3 which evaluates to 9, or you can do what has been done like spam into uh, a number or integer into a string. All right, so this is about the print function and how you can declare a variable. All right, now the next part is numbers and arithmetic in Python. So spam amount equals to 0. So number is a fine informal name of the kind of thing, but if we want to be more technical, we could ask Python how it would describe the type of things that spam amount is. So what they mean is that if you want to know what kind of value is given to a variable, then you can write like type spam amount. Now the next part is numbers and arithmetic in Python. So above we saw, so the next part is numbers and arithmetic in Python. So we just saw that we have declared a variable spam amount equals to 0. So we are calling this as number, but if we want to see what is the exact type of this variable, then what we can do is we can ask Python to describe it to us. So to describe this, we have an inbuilt function called as type, which will give us the exact type or data type of that variable. So type in the curly braces, you need to name the variable, and here we can see it is a integer value, which is short or short form is int. Similarly, like type of this 19.95, a decimal value is called as float. All right. Now there are operators that we have in Python like plus or addition. Then you have subtraction, multiplication, true division. Then you have floor division. You have modulus, exponentiation. Then you have negation. All right, a negative of a basically. So if we divide 5 by 2, it will give 2.5. If we divide 6 by 2, it will give 3. Now, it always gives us a float value. All right. Now, if you want a division, which is a floor division, which is defined by these two slashes, then you will have to write like print 5 divided by 2. It gives us the nearest integer. Okay, it is rounded down basically to the next integer. Okay, not round up and round down. Right. So it follows a PEMDAS, which is parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So the value of 8 minus 3 plus 2 is 7 because first addition will happen, which is minus 3 plus 2, which gives you minus 1, and 8 minus 1 is 7. Similarly, here the multiplication will happen first and then the addition and subtraction. So 4 into 2 is 8, which is minus 3 plus 8 gives you 5. Okay. So now here we have been given a problem statement like how tall am I in meters when wearing my hat? Sorry, wearing my hat, right? So we are defining two variables, hat and my height, so 25 and 190. So to find the total height in meters, we need to add 190 plus 25 divided by 100. All right. Now to print this, what they have done is in inverted commas, we have put height in meters equal to then a comma and total height in meters, comma, and again in inverted commas question mark. So what it does is this is our variable, okay, and this is the static text that we want to print. All right, so this is how a print statement is working over here. Now this is giving me a value of 26.9. Now this is wrong, right? This is not the correct value. So what would be the correct value? Correct value would be 190 plus 25 divided by 100. That is your 2.15 meters. That should be the correct value. Now what is happening over here is that the division is working first. All right. We just saw above that PEMDAS is working. That is parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition and subtraction. So division is working first and then our addition and then we are getting the result. So since the priority is given to the division, so first it is dividing my height by 100 and then adding that value to your hat height. Okay. So what we need to do, we need to forcefully provide a parenthesis here so that first it will add these two values. All right. So add these two values, hat and my height, and then divide it by 100. So that is what we have done over here. All right. So then it gives me the correct value. Check. So this is what is done here. Now there is another function minimum, and there is another function called maximum. So what is done here? It will take into account number of parameters, number of variables, or a number of values that you can provide, like minimum of 1, 2, 3, and then we are printing it. So it is giving us 1. The maximum of 1, 2, 3 is giving us 3. And again, if we do it for like absolute values, now absolute values is basically it will give you the value without the negative sign, right? So for positive value, it will always give you positive value like 32, and for negative values, it is going to give you the positive value of that number, right? Now print float 10. What will happen is that now, although it is an integer value, there is no decimal that we can see, but when we are trying to convert it into a float value, it will give us by default one decimal places. All right. Now, if print int 3.33, that will give you the integer value. It will round down to the nearest number, that is 3. And if you do print integer plus 1, then it will give you the integer value of a string, of this string 807, and then adding 1 to it. Alright. Now, before moving to the exercise, suppose if you want to practice this, you want to play around with this, what you can do is you can use a Jupyter notebook. You don't have to download it. You just need to go to jupyternotebook.org. You can just type here jupyternotebook.org and click on try Jupyter. Now try classic notebook. We'll try this one. Okay. Now click here, Jupyter, and try in your browser. Okay. Now this is how a Jupyter notebook looks like. Now we'll just go here, File, and open new notebook in Python 3. Alright. So this is a great way to play around. So these files that you see, these are also created in Jupyter. Okay. We're not go into detail of these, but I'll just show you how to run the code. Suppose if I want to run this, print min 1, 2, 3, I'll just type it over here. And to run this, you can just run this. Okay. So this will work on the browser directly. You don't have to install it or anything. Okay. You can just directly open it in the browser itself. Okay. Now, in order to view a function, the definition of the function, you can press Shift and Tab, and it will describe the function for you, that how it works. Okay, like argument one, argument two, number of arguments that you can provide. So this is how a minimum defined. If I type it on, if I put the cursor on print and type Shift Tab, then it will show you how you can use the function print. Okay. This is how you use a Jupyter notebook. Alright, now we'll move to the second part of the video, that would be how to work on the assignment. Alright, so I'll close this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll create another video part 2 which will have the assignment part. Thank you.